So we're going to now go over some of the disadvantages of using a crossbow. One of the main ones is loading time. It takes quite an effort and amount of muscle to not only pull that string back, because crossbow strings usually have about 150 to 180, sometimes more, of pressure behind it. And sometimes I've seen guys injure their fingers trying to pull it up. And so what you need to do is, if you use a crossbow regularly, is you need to have some kind of cocking mechanism with you. This can range from just a piece of rope with a piece of rod that has two hooks on each side. You have a rope knotted onto the rod. The two hooks hook onto the bowstring, and then you pull it up. And what that does, the little hooks sit on each side of the crossbow and pull it up with it. Something else is there's crank styles now that are out there where you put a little crank rod into the side of the stock, and there's a pulley inside the stock that as you turn it, the pulley draws the crossbow string back into the mechanism and locks it in place. Another one is the old school medieval kind, which was usually made of wood. It had points on the crossbow where it would attach, and then it would pull the bowstring back for leverage, and then once you got to a certain point, you could disengage it and pull it off, and you'd have the crossbow. Usually those were used in pairs. It wasn't just one man. There would be one man shooting, one man would have the reloader with arrows or bolts, and as the guy fired it, he would hand the crossbow to him. One guy would load it as he shot another one. So it was just an endless loop of shooting and loading between two guys. So if you have a buddy with you and you can buddy up and kind of pair up on loading and shooting, that's one way to get rid of that disadvantage of load time. Now, the other disadvantage is also kind of an advantage, and that's the power behind the bowstring of the crossbows. Crossbows have a lot more power behind them, which means they're more likely to split or damage your bolts or arrows that you use with them. It's also most likely that you're going to have your bowstring actually break down and snap faster, because as every time you pull that bowstring up, you're dragging it along the bow's body, and you're bringing it into mechanisms that are pinching it and cutting it, and over time they're going to wear it down. So bowstrings on a crossbow have a tendency to break much sooner because of the wear and tear they go under from every time you have to cock the string back. So its power is kind of a downside because of the force that's put on that bowstring and weakens it.